Ever feel like your dating life is stuck on repeat? Or wonder if your standards are protecting you or just holding you back? Well, in today's episode of 52, we're tackling one of the biggest myths in dating, the line between high standards and self sabotage. We're joined by Sylvie Khoucasian, a licensed marriage and family therapist and a relationship coach whose work has helped thousands unlearn the myths that keep them stuck in love. We'll break down why your checklist might be sabotaging your love life, what instant chemistry really tells you, and practical ways to date with intention without losing yourself. So stay tuned. If you're ready to date smarter, not harder, this episode is for you. So let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome back to 52, the podcast where we go deep on what it really takes to build lasting love in today's world. I'm Kelly, a former tech attorney turned intentional dating and relationship advocate, and I'm so glad you're here with us today.
And I'm Rodney Rabani, a marriage and family therapist here in Beverly Hills, as well as a relationship coach.
And today's episode is a powerful one. If you've ever felt like your dating life is stuck on repeat, or you've wondered whether your boundaries are too strong or not strong enough, or maybe you've been chasing a version of love that was never yours to begin with, well, this conversation is for you. And our guest today is someone whose work has transformed the way so many people think about dating, communication, and emotional safety. Silvy Khoucasian is a renowned relationship coach and writer with a master's in psychology and a gift for making complex topics like attachment theory and boundary setting deeply relatable and actionable. She's been featured in Vogue, Cosmopolitan, Women's Health, and more. But what sets Sylvia apart isn't just her expertise, it's her honesty. She speaks from experience. She grew up in an immigrant household that didn't model boundaries or emotional expression, and she found herself struggling in relationships that didn't feel safe. That personal journey became the foundation of her mission, helping others name their needs, set meaningful boundaries, and unlearn the myths that keep them stuck in love. Now, she's helped thousands of people around the world through her viral Instagram content, her deeply thoughtful coaching, and her signature way of holding space for growth. And today, we got to learn from her right here. Sylvie, we are truly honored to have you on 52. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Yay, I'm so excited and thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm so honored.
We're really happy to have you here today. Welcome. And to everyone listening, grab your coffee or your tea because today's episode is a great one. Sylvie and Rodney, are you guys ready to dive in?
So ready.
Let's go.
Let's get into it. All right. So, our question of the day. So, a 30-year-old girl from Boston keeps a meticulous list: height, advanced degree, ambitious career, same taste in music, immediate fireworks when she meets the guy, whoever he is. Long list. And after dozens of first dates, no one measures up, shockingly. So now she worries that her standards are either blocking her or maybe just protecting her fear of getting close to someone. So, our first question on this topic is, when dating, where's the line between healthy pickiness and perfectionism that blocks real intimacy?
So that line between healthy pickiness, healthy standards versus perfectionism and the rigid criteria
That
in dating,
list, like that checklist.
30-page booklet, right? Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's worth getting really clear on what is your relationship vision. What is the purpose of you being in a relationship with someone? What's the ultimate goal there for you? So I think focusing more on that vision and the the shared values and qualities you want your relationship to be anchored on. Oftentimes, we don't do that work, and so we can get caught up in the superficial things because that's what we're fed in the social media, in the media, in TV, film. So shifting the focus to the important standards and also identifying your personal deal breakers as your vision. And yeah, there's a reckoning that has to happen. Why do I have all of these kind of things that are potentially blocking me? Is there a vulnerability there that I'm afraid? I remember when I was in my dating journey, I think I went on 300 first dates before I met my husband. And I was just like, so tell me all your deepest flaws so I can create a story in my head about why you're not a good fit for me. And I was just blocking every man because I was so scared of feeling trapped in a relationship again. And I think Exploring your recent relationship history. What was that like? What did that feel like? Is there any, I don't even like the word baggage, but is there anything from those experiences that are following you and really shaping the lens you have while you're dating? And that takes courage to reflect on and be honest with ourselves about.
So true.
Mm.
So true. So, when people say instant chemistry equals long-term compatibility, we all know that's a myth.
Myth.
Exactly. So, what does the research actually show when it comes to what leads to long-term compatibility?
Look, there's like checklist of things that are important to have, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes our checklist grows too long. Uh, Love obviously is really important. Attraction is important. If you can mesh with the person's personality. But I think there's one big thing that really determines the long term health, and that's shared values.
Hmm.
Knowing how both of you want to envision your life, your environment, your surrounding, that really leaks into everything.
So true.
Spirituality, your religion, how you want to raise your children, how you have fun, all of that really does fall under your shared values. And I think it's very important to put that at the top of the list of where you guys align on that, whoever you're with.
Amazing.
You said the thing about instant chemistry. I think, expecting instant fireworks in chemistry can sometimes be an attachment response. Sometimes it's a familiar feeling that we had in childhood that maybe feels nice and yummy, but is it objectively, logically actually a person that is a good fit for us? Is this person activating things in a way that calms the nervous system, or is it giving me that like uncertainty that's making me feel that the chemistry? So we have to really and dissect what that actually is. And a lot of beautiful relationships can build slowly over time. I think as like Rodney said, there has to be something you're attracted to, but I don't even think that intense attraction has to be there for the first date, second date. You can't be disgusted, you can't be repelled, but if you're neutral, 5 or 6, and you find them, you admire them, you find them interesting, you're enjoying the conversation, there's things about the person that is sparking interest, that's worth exploring. And if anything, sometimes instant fireworks can really cloud your judgment and make it hard to know if this person is, in fact, good for your nervous system.
Absolutely. And when dating intentionally, what are some tips you guys have for daters to really shift their mindset from that checklist when they're on the date with someone and they want to see if they tick off everyone on their checklist versus really just being curious and seeing if their values are aligned and if it's a suitable match. Like basically when you're on a date, what tips do you have for someone to get out of the checklist mode psyche?
Just really focus on what's important, prioritize what's important. There are certain things that need to be there, right? Like the values, your attraction, if you mesh with the person, and make it more simple in your mind. Kill off that checklist you carry in your pocket. Also, I would say dating is like a muscle. Like you want to date so you can understand how to date, so you can learn more about what you like and you dislike, and go on more dates and get yourself out there and stop overthinking it and just get yourself in front of people, and you never know who you might click with.
I would say focus on building your own relationship skill set and look for people that have a solid relationship skill set. Because I think we might look for people that are so charismatic and charming and they might make us feel alive in those early kind of dates, but how are they relationship wise? Do they have good boundaries? Are they respectful? Are they kind? Are they flexible? Are they willing to hear feedback about themselves? Are they vulnerable? Like all of these kind of relationship skills that kind of fly under the radar because we're so fixated on the chemical hormones that are getting activated and just for on both sides, right? May we all continue to build our own relationship skill set. 69% of couples conflict in long-term relationship is unresolvable. Gottman research. So I remember even seeing a video of the Gottmans recently saying that it doesn't even matter how compatible you are, because even with how similar you are, there's going to be so much difference between you. And so things like flexibility, being willing to support each other's dreams and be a team and collaborative, like those are the yummy relationship skills that are going to really take you to the distance with someone. Of course, you still have to have the shared values and the core things that Rodney's talking, you know?
Love, love, love hearing that. And for someone like our listener here who will rule out a guy right away after date one,
Mm.
if he doesn't check off all the marks, all the boxes on her list, what are some tips you have for someone to give someone a second date or a third date chance after the first date? If the first date wasn't what they expected, if they didn't check off every single box on their list, because some people just rule someone out after the first date. So what are some signs that you should go on a second date with someone?
I had my own remedy of what I used to go by, and there's four things I would look for. Okay, shared values, physical attraction, and if I enjoy the person's personality. Okay, the fourth one is emotional availability. If those things are there, 100% you're getting a second date. If two out of the four are there, I'm also giving it a second date. If only one is there, forget about it. I actually told myself if I find all four, I'm going to marry that person. And it was my wife.
Mm. And sometimes we need more time. Like, how could you possibly know those four things are there in one date, in
Right.
a coffee date? Like,
Right.
it takes time. Like, you have to see someone in different contexts. Even people are guarded on the first few dates. Like, we're putting too much pressure
You're
to
right.
expect that.
And that's a wrap on today's episode on 52. That was such a meaningful convo. Sylvie, thank you for sharing your insights with such clarity and care. You've helped us explore some really complicated things in a really approachable way, so thank you. And before we wrap
Pleasure.
up, where can our listeners connect with you, follow your work, and learn more about your coaching?
So my Instagram, I would say, is the biggest hub where I post daily free content and tools. And then if anyone is interested in working with me on one-on-one coaching, I have room for like one or two more clients. Thank you for
Amazing.
having me,
Amazing.
guys.
And Rodney, thank you for your wisdom. You always bring to these conversations. So, for anyone who wants to follow your work or get in touch, where's the best place for them to find you?
Same Instagram. My handle's Rodney Rabani.
Amazing. And to all of our listeners, if today's conversation made you pause, reflect, or breathe a little deeper, we'd love to hear from you. So send us your questions, your thoughts, and share this episode with someone who needs it. And remember, dating isn't about proving you're worthy of love. It's about reconnecting to the truth that you already are. So when you trust yourself, name your needs, and stay grounded in your own worth, that's where real aligned love begins. So thank you for being with us. Subscribe, share, leave a review if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Until then, date with intention, honor your journey, and stay true to you. Happy dating. The content in this podcast is for entertainment and is not mental health, medical, or personal relationship counseling. It is not a substitute for professional expertise and judgment from a licensed healthcare or mental health professional. You should seek the advice of a qualified professional when seeking mental health or medical advice to obtain a diagnosis or any treatment regarding your mental health or well-being. The content in this podcast may not be applicable to you and your specific situation. Topics discussed in this podcast may include information that may be considered sensitive or emotionally charged to some people, and therefore listener discretion is advised. References to third-party resources are for informational purposes only, and 52 Inc. takes no responsibility for the content of those resources. This podcast is copyrighted 2025 by 52 Inc., all rights reserved.